Hello, everyone. Um, Purpose of this recording is going to be talking about my goals for 2025 when it comes to day trading. So I would say this year, I think, actually, let me write down something. Yes. Points. Talking points for this video. All right. Good morning, everyone. So this video is going to be about my journey as a day trader and going on into the new year, what I want to work on. And also, I'm going to be talking about some things that I've also improved on. So, starting with the improvements that I've made this year. First things first, we have definitely seen. See, that's the thing. I can't even think right now. But, So, with 2024 coming to an end, there have been a lot of lessons and a lot of challenges that we have embraced, whether it's in my physical world or in my mental world or in my trading space or career wise. And I've gone through a lot this year. And first off, I want to thank myself for being very consistent with myself, staying disciplined. And the times that I do break discipline, it felt like shit. Like I felt lost, but I was still able to pick myself back up and get back to what I needed to do. So I want to thank myself for that. As for the improvements in trading, I think I also want to reflect also on the improvements that I've made in my life as well. But starting off with trading, I would say one is sticking to a strategy. Within the course of the first 3 years of my trading career, definitely have been just hopping from strategy to strategy, not being able to commit to one. And that just comes from probably consuming way too much content, seeing a bunch of people with their strategies working and they post their wins. It's always wins, never the losses. And I think psychologically that's affected me in a way and where I'm thinking, oh, my strategy doesn't work, or like all these little things. But in reality, it's finding that one strategy that fits out for you and just really committing to it. So I, in the beginning of the year, I remember just jumping through different strategies. At one point, I was doing this open strategy where it was a bunch of lines that that were marked out based off of the weekly, daily open. That was like that strategy was a great strategy, but psychologically, consuming all the content made me deviate from that strategy and then ended up working on a different one where we were focusing on 15-minute demand zones and 15-minute zones. And overall, it was so messy. I would say like from January to August, I was like still trying to figure out my trading, which is bizarre to think about, right? I've been doing it for 4 years, couldn't figure out how to stick to a strategy. But one strategy that I would say has resonated with me is he goes by the name Tom Trades. It's very simple. Breaks it down in a way where his strategy is all about time frame alignment. And I just really enjoyed the way he presented his strategy, not only to social media, but also how he traded it as well. And, not only was his strategy great, but I also resonated with him quite a bit just because he's very similar to me in a sense of he seems very introverted. He seems really cool, calm, and collected. That's still something I need to work on. The way he speaks is just very calming as well. And I kind of found my aspirations to be like him as a trader. So one thing that I do want to work on is focusing on one trader or even one or two traders and then really try to embody them, embody their mindset, embody how they think, embody how they talk, so that when I trade, it reflects that same energy in a way. So with Tom's strategy, I've been studying it from I would say till July till now. And the way I've been tracking my results also has been very amazing, actually. I used to do my journaling in Discord where every day daily review, which is great, right? Like I've been doing daily reviews for 2 years consistently, which is awesome. But the way I was doing my daily reviews wouldn't allow for me to go back and see what setups worked and what didn't. Like I was doing in-depth analysis, but the way that the data and my daily reviews were set up, it would require for me to go onto Discord, scroll up, and and it just wasn't organized in a way that I would like. So I'll go ahead and show you guys really quick. So I used to do it in a way where it was like this. First of all, these are the steps that I also take every day, and I would say I'm very blessed and very glad that I have stayed consistent with following this this routine that I've created for myself. And beginning next year, I want to make it a goal to not to do my routine every single day, even if I don't plan on trading, just to be able to do my trading routine every single day, practicing gratitude, meditating, doing all of that before getting into the markets. And if I don't get into the markets, totally fine. But just being able to wake up at 5 and do all that consistently is something I really will work on for 2025. But as you guys can see, here we have daily trade reviews. Last time I did this daily trade review was back in August, right? But pretty much it's you see how I still had the structure of it, right? It was very organized in a way, but it was also put in a way where I couldn't go back and see collectively what was working, what wasn't, and what was working, what wasn't, right? Like I couldn't see what kind of setup it was. Like I think in a data collective sample size, it's hard to kind of want to scroll back and look and see like, oh, this is what's working, this is not. Because then I have to go back and read through every little detail, right? And this is why I resonated with Tom's strategy and just everything about how he trades is just very cool. And I'm working to get to that. Like I'm not trying to meet right or whatever, but the way he trades is I like the way he trades. All right. But see, like I'll do all of these trading reviews and Like they're great. Like don't get me wrong, I'm very blessed, but with the way that it's just formatted, it's not the best to look back and reflect and see, okay, this setup worked, this setup didn't work, or this can-do behavior was what provided that high quality setup. Was there a type one, type two, type three shift? Like all of those things, I can't categorize them in here. However, Tom, he has a way of journaling that I found was really cool. And for me, I think I've always been a person that enjoys looking at data. And so when I found out how like when I found out about his personal trading journal, I damn near copied every single thing about it because I love the strategy that he was using. So I was able to keep a lot of the formatting that he had. And I also love the way that he had the journal set up. So let me go ahead and switch my screen. Let me real quick. Discord. Stop sharing. Okay, so now taking a look at this, this is now my trading journal. I started this back in August now, so it's like 4 months. But you see how everything is, it looks organized, it's clean, it's very good looking data, right? I can look back and see the dates that I took these on. I also put in he included a section where you have a learning section, and let me tell you, it's just amazing how well he put this trading journal together, especially because Notion, they'll give you templates, but to be able to create your own and make it look like this, it's just so like a God bless Tom. Tom, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. But so taking a look right here, we have the different pairs that I'm trading. And for our strategy, we work on type one, type two, type threes. I can get into depth with that a little bit more later on. But being able to organize and see all of this data, show which one works and which one doesn't, and especially if we have the filters right here, like we can do the type of pair, like what am I, do I have a higher win rate with ES? Or do I have a higher win rate with NQ? And you could just see all of that data here, right? So obviously it's showing ES, it looks like I have a smaller win rate. Let me see, 37% win rate with 54% loss. NQ, I actually win more on NQ than on ES, which is surprising. See, this is all data that I wouldn't know unless I had this journal, right? Gold, obviously not the best win rate, so probably staying away from gold. And XAU USD and USD JPY, that's Tom's, but I don't trade Forex. It just, you see how like it's so organized. And so with 2025, I definitely plan on expanding on my list of trades, and being able to journal it like this, I has helped me improve drastically. And I'm right now, I'm at the point in I would say in the last couple months, I've been going through a little bit of an emotional phase. I don't want to say emotional phase, but personal things have been going on in my life, which has definitely affected my trading, but I will say that I see that if I continue to journal the way that I do, which is in this trading journal, 2025 is going to be I already see it as amazing because now I have the things that I want set in stone. Like my routine is so strict, and I'm so in gratitude and like in love with it, like being able to wake up early at 5 o'clock, do my meditations, pray, and come into the markets with an infinite observing mindset, knowing that I'm not getting paid for my time, but I'm getting paid for my decision making. And then after being able to journal it, and my being having my main focus be more on just collecting data, I think is what's like so exciting for me. Like I'm excited to be able to collect more data samples, And so that being said, like this is something I would say for my improvements from 2024, definitely how I've been journaling my trades has been a key factor in my trading journey, and also learning as well. Like one thing I remember learning, and this is like very recent too. I want to say like the last month, this is something I just figured out because I take a lot of my trades in a 1 minute time frame. As long as if I really realistically align it with the smaller time frame, the 15-30 minute, just following the trend, it's gonna automatically be a higher probability trade. Obviously, looking at the 4 hour and 1 hour to see where we are on the larger time frame, but using that immediate that how do you say it? Intermediate time frame, like the time frame between the high and low. You get what I mean. But being able to focus on that allows for me to take higher quality setups. And I couldn't have known that if I didn't have all my data like this. And I say that because when I open up, let's say the day for this one, I take screenshots showing what the 15 minute looks like, what the 1 hour looks like, and all these things create more help create and instill more confidence because now I know that this is what I have in front of me. This is what it's telling me, right? Like for example, this one, right? We had a very strong uptrend. We broke this structure right here, but technically we were still bullish. And realistically, this would be I would like to see price pull back. I should have waited for price to pull back into this area to confirm the downside move. So being able to just see all these lessons that come from the market and seeing that majority of the losses that I take come from just not following the trend, like this one, reacting to a larger time frame area of interest. But on the 15 minute, you can't even say bearish, but once price had a strong reaction here, that should have been bullish. But here, I tried taking it short. So all of this is very important. The way I journal now is so important to me that I know that as long as if I continue reviewing and studying and just staying consistent, it's everything will come to fruition. So with that being said, that's one of the main improvements I made in my trading. The second one, definitely following a strategy, focusing on one and really, really just honing in on getting better every day. Also, my third one has been shifting my focus from instead of the idea of making money when I noticed back in September, like between August and September, I would say the first couple months of me journaling, what I noticed that my mindset was more focused on the data. How can I collect good data? And when I had my mindset focused on that, my trading felt so effortless, so easy and boring, which is how it should be, and after I want to say, yeah, we could even see it right here. You'll be able to see, but towards the towards like October, right? The second week of October to now, that you could tell there's been a mindset shift, right? Because look at all these losses that I took compared to all these wins. Like between this time right here, my mindset was, oh, what is the trade that will allow for me to be confident in my data sample size? Like I wanted to take good trades so that my data was consistent. But here you can see there's something missing, right? Whether it was a mindset shift or my inability to adapt to the market conditions, it's all going to tell me right here. And so what I've learned from studying all of these lessons was that one, mindset was not right. Lot during this time, went through a couple personal family issues. We worked that out now. We're great, but that was one. So psychologically, not in the right headspace. Number two, I blanked out. Number two, not adapting to market conditions, right? During this time where I noticed that majority of my trades are short bias, right? And within the time of August and October, bearish market for sure. Like whether majority of the time it was like short-term bearish market. But now we've been seeing a lot more bullish upside, especially, with the recent endings where, Trump winning the elections, Trump appointing, and all of these things that have affected the markets, like economical, political, whatever, has now put us in a bullish market. But my inability to adapt to that is what caused me to go on a bunch of these. trades that, taught me a couple lessons. And, being able to study all of this, I am counter trending the intermediate trend. So I wouldn't have been able to figure that out unless I had this journal. And let me tell you, there like I want to say even last year, like I noticed I had problems with just trying to follow the trend. You know what I mean? I would just be so, I was so focused on the mechanical aspect of my trading that I wasn't adding context like I should be. So very grateful that I had this journal, right? And so with that being said, now that we've talked about the improvements I've really made in trading, I also want to kind of go through the list of improvements I've written in here as well. So I remember in October 6th, I mentioned how over the last 2 months, um, had emotional trading days throughout those months, but those type of trading days have definitely been decreasing. I've been able to maintain profitability over the last couple months, but what I need to focus on is not just being profitable over the couple months, but over the course of my career. So that means that the mindset should not be focused on one singular trade every day, but more on a collection of trades. Like, what is your result over the next 100 trades, right? That's what matters, not one single trade. Because once you're able to see your 100 trades that you've taken, it allows for you to filter out what works and what doesn't, and that all comes from journaling. So very blessed for that. I also mentioned that creating this new trading journal over the last couple months was very amazing and been following my rules a lot better. So props to me for that. And then back in April, I mentioned also an improvement that I made was just following my plan a lot cleaner, a lot better, and managing my risk. So I remember at this point in time, I was still taking a string of losses, and that was because I was not adding context. It's like, sure, I'm following my plan, but my plan was not including too much market context. So like, let's say market is extremely bullish and I'm trading in a bearish demand or supply area. Most of the time, if you're in a bullish uptrend on a larger time frame, then the smaller time frame will disrespect those areas of supply. So I not having that and not focusing on that has really, I would say, slowed down my trading in a sense. But because I have journaled, I keep going back to the journal. But that's what's been so key in my improvement in trading. It's just that journal. Seeing that I haven't been following the trend, it's like, come on, like now. And I used to think it was like, oh, psychologically, like, why am I taking all these trades? But it's like, I'm not adapting. I wasn't adapting to the market conditions. So that's something I want to improve on next year as well. And, throughout I would say 2024, it was more of me just really finalizing. I don't want to say finalizing because there's always room for improvement, but more of solidifying what my routine is. So really waking up every day at 5:15 and just honing in on my daily practices is what's going to help increase my discipline, build confidence in myself. There was a saying I remember that you build confidence in yourself by the repetitive actions that you make. So like, let's say if you want to be a very confident trader, you have to be consistent in what you do, whether it's your morning routine. It all comes in how you play out your daily life, right? If I say I'm gonna go to the gym, I better go to the gym. And I'm telling you, I've fallen victim in 2024, not going to the gym when I say I am. If I'm gonna say it, I better do it. My tongue is like a spell. Whatever I say comes out of my mouth, my mind's already believing it. So one thing I also want to improve on is watching my words. I want to be more careful with how I say things. I want to also focus my energy on being more positive. I am human, so there are going to be times where I might be in a negative mindset, but I need to be able to snap out of it and just get back into being an infinite observer, being an infinite being able to just brush it off and focus on the now. Because the way you see life is based on based on how you think, right? If I'm always happy, or if I'm always doing things that make me happy, then I'm going to be happy, right? You don't want to wait until you feel you don't want to wait until you feel good to do the action. You want to do the actions that make you feel good, if that makes sense. So let's say if I'm sad right now, or I'm angry right now, me sitting around dwelling and moping in my negative energy is not gonna change anything. It's what I'm going to do to be able to change that, right? So like if I'm sad, why not do something that'll make you happy? Whether it's like going out for a run, going to going on a walk by the beach. Like do focus on committing actions, focus on committing to actions that will help shift your emotions into where you want to be. And so that's something I've learned. There's so much I've learned, and I really want to focus on applying that as well. Okay, so as for next year, my main goals definitely going to be continuing journaling my data, focusing on being an infinite observer of the markets. And, I want to be able to, I am going to also focus on detaching myself from money I make, even at my job, right? Sure, I'm trading my time in to make money, but I cannot have that mindset. Like, I have to see every opportunity as me just growing. Like, sure, be money conscious, like, of course, but never don't fixate on it because when you fixate on money too much, you create an emotional attachment. And when you create that emotional attachment, you kind of start operating in a mindset of lack, right? Because let's say if I'm trading my money and I lose it and I feel some sort of way, right? The reason why I'm feeling some sort of way is because I had to trade my time for that money. I can't think like that anymore. I don't trade my time for money anymore. I trade my time. My money being made is based off of the decisions I make. Time is relevant now. So that's something I really want to focus on. And I think that'll help me cultivate that mindset a lot better. I did mention how being in any environment, or if you have a specific environment where you have the full creative freedom, it'll allow for your internal beliefs to come out. So that means if we have self-sabotaging beliefs, they will show up in your charts, as a form in the form of your entries and exits. So that means the trades you take, like they all are also a reflection of your, I guess, your mental, and if you want profitability, it all starts in the mental. So something to work on. I really want to also focus on this year, just avoiding taking any emotional trades, no over leveraging, sticking to my process. So I'm going to list out the three main rules I have. First one, one trade a day. If you take a winning trade, that gives you an opportunity to take another trade. But one loss a day, actually, let's rephrase it. Only one loss a day. That minimizes your losses. But if you have wins, you can take another trade. There's one rule. Number two, manage risk. Never, ever over leverage because it does nothing for you. You don't want to be coming into the markets being too opportunistic to make money and then you over leverage and you develop too much overconfidence. And the moment that the trade fails, you have too much of an attachment to it and it could lead to a potential emotional spiral. Number three, journal every single trade. I will say there have been times where I've overtraded. I didn't journal them because I was like, especially if they were break even trades, I'd be like, oh, I don't need to journal it because whether it be like a trade I didn't follow I would just ignore it. And so I'll, every trade I take, I need to journal. That's going to be rule number three. Bonus rule number four, just manage risk. Like that's it. I think I might have said that in my second one, whatever. But those are kind of the goals I want for next year. As for the monetary goals and the physical goals, obviously seven figures capital makes seven figures, but that's not the focus. The focus is just coming into the markets, being an infinite observer, focus on collecting data samples and being a good trader, like being a skilled trader. Skilled traders are very good at risk management. They're skilled trader. Okay, skilled traders are multiple things, right? They are their own risk manager. They're also their own psychologist. They're their own HR. They got it. We are our own everything. We're not just traders. We have to manage our emotions. We have to manage money. We have to manage our psychology. We have to manage an account. There's so many things that we're micromanaging at the same time that we don't give ourselves enough credit for that. So appreciate the fact that you are able to just be, how do I say this? Just appreciate that, as a trader, there's so many things that you need to do that it's not just trading. There are other things that you need to focus on. So, once I found kind of figured out or understood that I'm more than just a day trader. I'm also a risk manager. I can consider myself my own psychologist. Those things have really helped me build confidence and be like, wow, like I've really, really honed in on what it means to be a trader. Like all of these things are what creates a great trader. So just know that, being a trader is more, it's more than just being a trader. And it's a difficult career, but it's one that is totally worth it. I would not trade the last 4 or 5 years of my experience for anything, to be honest. I wouldn't want to have it any other way because I wouldn't be where I am today without it. I wouldn't have developed the gratitude that I do now. I wouldn't have been more appreciative of things. I wouldn't be where I am today without the struggles that I've gone through. So practicing gratitude has also been something I've really worked on this year. Being grateful for what we have in life is the only way you're going to be happy. Like sure, there are so many other things in life that you can achieve. And don't get me wrong, like go for it. Like go for what you want. Whatever you want and you set your mind to, you will get it. But also take a look and be grateful because sometimes you get so lost in the journey that you forget that God has put you where God has put you where you've asked him to put you back in the past. And so just practicing gratitude has been very important. Growing my faith in God has also been extremely important as well. So I'm extremely grateful for that. I'm grateful for him and for everything that he's provided for me and, for what I have right now. So yeah, I think I've covered everything I needed to cover. 2024 was another amazing year for me. A lot of improvements. Some other goals that I've had or some other things I've had in my life was, graduated from college. I acquired a new position at a real estate firm, which was amazing. I've always wanted to get into real estate, but not as an agent, more of the financial slash data side. And God has provided that for me. I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful for my bosses. I'm grateful for my manager. I'm grateful for a lot of things in my life. And I feel like my quality of life has improved dramatically because of my ability to stay grateful and practice a lot of gratitude. So another something that I want to continue getting better at in 2025, especially in times where I feel like I'm going through a lot of turmoil or distress in my life, being able to just focus on the good part of it, like, okay, it might feel like it might feel like the worst situation in the world, but how can I find a way to see the good in it, because God operates in mysterious ways. It might hurt us now, but in the future, it could be the biggest blessing ever. And so I want to, I'm very grateful for that. Last but not least, I would say, this is the end of 2024, man. Like 2025, you might say it every year, but it's time to grow even more. Growth is inevitable. Life moves on. My life grows. If life is not growing, then it's dying. So always find opportunities and ways to grow. Always be opportunistic. Focus on opportunities. Never focus in lack. Don't always, never, I don't want to ever catch myself saying, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. No. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for just being alive, being grateful. Like there's so many things to be grateful for. So, with that being said, I would like to end it off here. My speaking is not the best, so I also want to improve on that in 2025. But this is me recording this, having this be my first video where I'm really just pouring out what I've done over the last year and, making this my little video diary. Like for me, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna get so much better at it. So I plan on creating weekly videos, just reflecting on, how each week has gone, and creating that journey on YouTube will allow for me to hold myself more accountable because I know that I posted these videos, I said these things, I better follow it. And if not, then whoever's been watching, if you're watching this, you can hold me accountable. And yeah, we'll go from there. But cheers to a great year in 2024. And I'm extremely excited for what 2025 has to offer for us. So, with that being said, God bless you all. If you're watching this, you did great in 2024. Brian, you have been the best version of yourself. You need to quit smoking, by the way. No more. But yeah, and that's about it. So I think this is going to be the most raw video ever. I'm not going to edit it. I don't. It, part of me is like gonna cringe if I watch back on it, but I just want to post this so that I have something to hold me accountable. So yeah, I will go ahead and end the video off right here. And I hope if you're watching this that you had a great 2024 and cheers to 2025.